politics, and more with John Brown and Nick Durst, live on the UCY.TV network.
John, what is going on?
Yeah, it's hard to know when the cutoff music's actually over. So, hey, welcome everybody. It's November 2nd, 1 week to election week, and I'm here joined with my co-host, Nick Durst. What's going on, Nick?
What's going on, John? We got a jam-packed show, and just want to apologize for any of those slight silent moments there on our playback here with the Skype. We can't really hear when the song's over, but nonetheless, we are here tonight. We have a huge show. This is what's going to be happening. At the end of our show, we'll do our NFL segment as usual. But the heart of the show tonight, we're talking politics. We're talking Hillary and her emails. And we're talking Donald Trump. The election is next Tuesday, and John is fired up. And we're going to start the show tonight really briefly. It's a big thing going on right now. Game 7 between the Indians and the Cubs in the World Series. But before we even go there, I want everyone to know that if you want to contact us to talk about anything tonight, there's a number of ways you can do it. First, we want you to call us. We welcome your calls. We fixed our call system. 1-718-717-8296. Again, that's 1-718-717-8296. Or you can write to us in the UCY lobby chat like our regulars do, such as Otto von Bolschwig. He's already talking about how, Anthony Weiner might be saving the day here, but we will get to that. The other way to reach us is to usually tweet us. You can tweet me at Nick_Durst. John is at S_sports. However, you cannot follow him at all. Tell him why, John. You cannot follow him. You cannot tweet him, so don't have to tweet me tonight.
Yeah, so the Twitter put me in my little penalty box timeout area for the next 12 hours. This came right after I got blocked by the official Hillary Clinton Twitter account, which is bullshit. I wasn't actually tweeting at her. I was retweeting the FBI vault releases, WikiLeaks releases. I answered a couple questions. I tweeted about it in the morning. One of the stories that I was writing about was the fact that Hillary was doing this thing where you could make a Hillary sign if you donated money, and it's like, I'm joining Hillary's campaign for, and you could put someone's name. But if you put Seth Rich or Vince Foster or any of these other people that are connected, that she's connected to their death, it wouldn't let you. But if you put Osama bin Laden, it would let you. So what type of hypocritic nonsense was that? But I guess that must have hit a nerve, and she complained. Boom. Banned.
Yeah, who's really monitoring her Twitter? Because I saw something today that she has 3 million fake made-up followers. That's insane.
Absolutely, man. Her tweets get 1,500 retweets. comparatively, Donald Trump's gets like thousands.
And and if you noticed, I'm sure you did. There's so many like the same different accounts with the same exact tweet about Hillary. Oh, she's so great. But yeah, so Hillary blocked you or whoever. Now you're off Twitter for the next 8 hours or so. But don't worry, you'll be back tomorrow. Retweeting all those WikiLeaks. If you want to see WikiLeaks, you go to John's Twitter at @S_sports. He retweets every single one of them almost, and it's just a great follow. But we got in 5 minutes we have our new segment called 10 at 10. A top 10 list at 8:10 with our field reporter who's out there working hard covering the election right now, Andrew Jason Pollock. He'll be on in 5 minutes to give us his top 10 reasons why you should not vote for Hillary Clinton. Be sure to listen to that. Then 8:20 we have political pundit Frank Todaro calling in. He's going to be discussing the emails further. And without further ado, John, we have 6 minutes past 8 now. We're going to talk a little World Series right now, Game 7. And before I even ask you, can you believe we got to this point? I'm going to give you an update here. It's the top of the first, nobody out. Kyle Schwarber on first base, and the Cubs are already winning 1-0 on a Dexter Fowler solo home run to dead center field to start the game.
Shit. I'm pulling for the Indians because I am a big Terry Francona fan. I think he's a really good baseball mind. He's also kind of a smart ass. I like him. I like his gib. And I dislike a lot of the players on the Cubs. I think they're assholes. So I'm rooting. Let's go Indians.
See, for me, I like the Indians players better for the most part. But, the Cubs, I like all their pitchers. I like Bryant. I like Rizzo. Those are quality guys. I'm not going to be mad either way. I just feel like the Cubs fan base deserves to win a little more because the Indians fan base, they're all Cavaliers fans. They just won. So, yeah. But how do you see this game playing out?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be a pitcher's duel, but that solo home run might break it open. Maybe it goes late. You know what I want? I want to happen? I want Chapman to be in a save situation and blow the save.
Oh, I hate Chapman. I can't stand him. But yeah, so the Cubs already got there rolling. Andrew Miller is going to be warming up in the second inning, ready to go. I thought the Cubs would win this series. Then it looked like they were done, but kudos to Joe Madden for getting them here to this point. It's been a great series. It's been a great season overall, despite the fact that the Mets blew it and got injured. I'm already looking forward to spring training because the Knicks are awful, and I like the Rangers. They're doing well, but last year they started off 14-6 as well. So baseball, hopefully the Mets can re-sign Cespedes. But yeah, the World Series. Have you been watching any of it really, or just checking in with the scores?
Honestly, I watched the highlights on SportsCenter. I haven't been really. I listened to a little bit on the radio the other day, but I'm not really captivated because I'm not invested in either of these teams. You know what I mean? I actually would kind of like it if the Cubs didn't win to keep that curse alive, especially because people in Chicago are assholes. They voted for Obama. They keep killing each other. So I'm actually much more pro Cleveland.
I actually saw today that 13 people were shot on Halloween in Chicago. I can't believe it. And maybe shockingly, Donald Trump was right when he said you need to have stop and frisk in Chicago.
No, that's racist.
What a joke. But, ladies and gentlemen, we teased it, and now it is just about time. John is getting Andrew Jason Pollock online right now for the 10 at 10. We're going to try to just bring this segment here on a weekly basis. It could be 10 things listed by me, 10 things by John, 10 by a guest of ours, or 10 by Andrew Jason Pollock, our field reporter. Big list coming up right now. The top 10 reasons why America will be in trouble if Hillary Clinton becomes the President of the United States. We appreciate your comments in the chat. Read this off real quick while John gets them on the line.
Hey, guys, I'm here. Andrew Pollock has arrived.
We got 10 at 10 coming up in a few seconds. It's not 10 past yet. But Anand, 4251 says the owner of the Cubs sent 400 employees to this game, private jets, tickets, hotels, everything paid for. It's really amazing, really nice for the Cubs owner. And Frank points out, if the Cubs win, GM Theo Epstein will have conquered the curses for the Red Sox and the Cubs, cementing his place as the top GM in the history of baseball. And if Terry Francona wins tonight, he'll cement...
Wait a second, Rizzo. Has it pop up?
Yeah, he got a pop.
And
We can't do play-by-play. We don't have the rights to the game. And if Terry Francona wins, he will have conquered the curse with the Red Sox and the Indians. Without further ado, Andrew, it's the 10 at 10 right now. We know the baseball game is going on. It's exciting. We'll keep you posted throughout. But for this exact segment right here, keep yourself on pace here and tell us the top 10 reasons from 10 to 1 as to why Hillary Clinton would be bad for America if she's president, or we could phrase it as the 10 reasons why you should not vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton. Go ahead, Andrew.
All right, this is coming from the heart, and I'm really going to think about this carefully, but I think everybody's going to agree with me right now. The main reason why you should not vote for this crazy lady, this crazy witch, the email scandals. Is it going to haunt her if she gets elected?
Absolutely, absolutely. If she gets elected, she's going to go right into impeachment right away, just like Nixon.
And you might have a lunatic, even more crazier president with Tim Kaine.
Oh.
That's reason number 2, in my opinion. If Hillary gets indicted and has to go to prison, then you're going to have a crazier man than Tim Kaine be your president. Do you want that? I certainly don't.
Nobody wants that.
Okay, reason number 3 has to be the Iran deal. Nothing's going to get done if Hillary is president. The Iran deal is a disaster. We have to get rid of it. Number 4, I'm going to have to say Obamacare. Yesterday there was a rally in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, where Republican senators, congressmen, they're actually doctors, got into office and somehow, went up yesterday and said, look at these premiums. I agree with them. I agree with every doctor in this country that have seen what's going to happen. And personally, I do not know what premiums will be next year under Obamacare. But overall, we have got to get rid of this disaster called Obamacare.
Yeah, let me jump in on that, Andrew, because I think this is like one of the biggest issues in this entire campaign, and I think it transcends just this particular campaign because it becomes a philosophy on how you live your life. And the best is Bill Clinton said it the best. How could you give 20 million Americans free health insurance and think that it wasn't going to change anything? That's the craziest thing in the world, and I have to agree. This is just a microcosm of redistributing wealth. Because if these people didn't have health insurance, where are they going to have it now? Oh, I think Andrew dropped.
All right, Andrew dropped. He gave us 3 reasons, which was great. Well, we'll go to the chat room real quick. Jewel Easton, he or she says, I don't even know how she could be in the running with all these investigations. It's pretty crazy. I've never seen a person who's under investigation before, twice in 1 year, run for office.
Oh,
Andrew,
boy. Hey, unrelated note, guys. Target just put out their holiday ad on Fox. How stupid is that?
All right, what's number 4?
I already said number 4, Obamacare. That's why.
Oh, what's number 5?
Okay. Number 5, no manufacturing growth. The problem is we need manufacturing. We have no jobs right now. They're getting taken over. And that's where I bring into reason 6 and 7. That NAFTA won't be renegotiated. That's reason number 6. And reason number 7, Hillary's going to approve the Trans-Pacific Partnership, where all these jobs that we currently have, I don't know where they are right now, are going to go to more Asian countries. So that's reason 6 and 7. NAFTA will still be in place the way it is, and TPP will go through.
Yeah, let me jump in on that too. So the reason that TPP is such a disaster is the fact that, if you want to try to take a step back from the Republican line of, took our gerbs, and you want to try to look at this from like the left and the liberals, the idea of, shipping jobs overseas, oh, that's great, we're giving them jobs. But in reality, what we're doing is we're making them economic slaves. There's a reason why there's nets outside of the building where they make iPhones. People jump off of it because the working conditions are that bad. And when you sign TPP, all we're going to do is outsource American jobs to essentially economic slave labor, where these poor people in the South Pacific are going to be taken advantage of by all of these multinational corporations. And that's immorally a sin and should not be. And that's just another, never mind economic, that's a reason just to be against it as a normal human being who cares about other people.
And you know what's ridiculous, John, is that Bernie Sanders today was on the campaign trail for Hillary Clinton and basically keeps saying, oh, well, you should get Hillary elected, blah, blah, blah. Well, Bernie Sanders, you, Senator, are a hypocrite. You basically say you don't take donations from corporate Wall Street. Well, now you are by supporting Hillary Clinton. So that's reason number 8. The same corrupt establishment will still exist under this woman. We need to get rid of establishment politics.
I completely agree. I was really disappointed in Bernie Sanders, the fact that even after all these WikiLeaks came out and the idea that the nomination was literally stolen from him by, Donna Brazile and all these other, malicious actors, and he still didn't pull back his support for Hillary. I don't know if he was threatened. I honestly, I don't know.
He was definitely threatened, and he was just totally screwed. And the person that screwed him is now a top aide for Hillary Clinton. So instead of working on an inside job, she's literally part of the team now. Andrew, we gotta keep this moving along here. Continue the list, buddy.
Okay, number 9. Okay, I just thought of it. Now my train of thought's gone because of all this Bernie Sanders talk. But I honestly feel that number 9, my train of thought just came back. The Veterans Administration. Why aren't our veterans getting the respect that they deserve? Okay?
I like. We got to hear John's take on that point, Andrew.
I absolutely agree. Unfortunately, we get politicians like John McCain who says he's for, helping the veterans, but he's been in power for 30 years. The same thing with Hillary, and the same thing with Bernie, who was the head of the chair for the VA. The VA is such a great microcosm of what Obamacare is. The idea that government controlling something will make it better. The more government that's involved, the worse it is. The VA essentially is set up for old men who were fought in World War II. It's not set up for guys right now, and you have a whole generation of guys who are coming back broken, mentally and physically, and the support there is just not there. If you call the suicide hotline, you get a voicemail. How insane is that?
That's a disgrace, and that's
there should be a live person.
That's why every general in the United States military endorsed Donald Trump. Am I wrong?
Not everyone, but a lot of them. A couple of them, you got to realize, that high up in the military, it's a political position. So some of them actually backed Hillary, but from what I'm hearing, those guys are hacks, and they're just doing it for political reasons.
Sounds accurate.
Don, you have not been to a VA clinic recently, right?
No, I have. I've been to the one in Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn, 2-3 months ago.
And how was the experience?
Terrible. It's like a free clinic. The vast majority of people there are like, transient homeless people, elderly. When you go see a doctor, you see a different doctor every time. They don't know who you are. So I blew out my knee in the Marine Corps. I tore my ACL and my MCL. I got a letter in the mail that asking me what knee I hurt, because they don't even know. Like, you're just a stranger and a number. They give you the runaround. It takes forever to get an appointment. When you finally do get an appointment, they just, they give you some bullshit like, oh, here, take some aspirin and come back in 6 weeks. It's
right.
Nonsense.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Andrew, since we did promise Frankie's got a cup soon, finish off the list for us.
Okay. Reason number 10. We have to lower taxes. Taxes are way too high right now. Hillary Clinton came out months ago, and she purposely said that we are going to raise taxes on the middle class. Well, I feel what Donald Trump has put out, a very reasonable tax plan for the American people. And I feel that his plan will work. And also, I want to talk to the people who make less money per year. Donald Trump is looking out for you, okay? Hillary Clinton will keep raising all over your taxes. And if we don't get Donald Trump in as our commander-in-chief, the whole tax code in general will not change.
Yeah, I definitely agree that taxes is... I mean, if you're an American, you want your taxes to go up. Something's wrong with you. That, to me, is the number one driving factor that you should want to vote for Trump.
You want to know what tax bothers me the most? Sales tax.
Yeah, it's the real estate tax. They tax you when you're alive. They tax you when you're dead. It comes right down to what I was talking about earlier about your idea. If you think we should redistribute wealth, I don't. We live in a land of opportunity where we shouldn't be redistributing wealth. It's ridiculous. Look at Europe. They tried it. In Sweden, Northern Europe, they thought it would become a utopia. And you know what? Their crazy liberal ways have destroyed their country at this point. So I bet they wish they didn't do all of that. But Andrew, thank you very much. We got another guest coming on. If you feel free to text and chat and thing, we'll read your comments. But I got to get Frank on the line. Thanks again for your top 10. And remember, where can they follow you?
All right. So on social media, I'm Andy's Randomness. And if you have a Snapchat, just look up Andrew Sports Fan. I update it daily. Okay,
great. Thanks so much, Andrew.
Right, there you go. And John.
All right. And you guys enjoy the World Series.
We will. Thanks, Andrew. That has been 10 at 10 with Andrew. And John, as you got Frank up here, I think two main reasons that you shouldn't vote for Hillary that Andrew didn't mention is one, she's a murderer, and two, she's a criminal.
I agree. I completely agree. She's this is actually, you'll get a kick out of this, both of you, Frank and Nick, because you guys are both Italian Americans. Today, Rudy Giuliani said that if Clintons had an Italian last name, they would have got arrested for RICO years ago.
Damn. Yeah, and Otto commented on the VA. He said he had a nurse at the VA that wanted to put a dude in his active myocardial infarct on IV monitor O2, and he'd already given the person 2 nitrovaliums and morphine, and the nurse wanted him to put the man in the chairs in the waiting room and put a monitor on so she couldn't react or something. Yeah, as he says, F the VA in Tucson, Arizona, and that's McCain country right there.
Yep. That's one of the reasons I broke from the Republican Party is because it's all lip service. They talk a good game about the VA, they do nothing. But Frank, we got you on the line. Thanks for calling.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm making my long-awaited debut.
Frank, it's about time we got you on the show here. And for those of you that don't know Frank is he's a contributor to the Knick-Knack News website sometimes. He's Brooklyn born and raised, I believe.
Yes.
And Frank is he's a pretty smart guy when it comes to politics, I would say. Frank, we got you on here to talk about the impact of the emails and whatnot. So we'll be interacting with you, but the floor is yours. The mic is yours.
Well, the soap opera that is the Clintons continues, but let's just go over a few facts about the reopening of the investigation. What James Comey, the FBI director, did, all he did this past week was he just sent a notification to Congress. And yes, both Republicans and Democrats. That's all it was. It was a notification because they found emails on Weiner's laptop. And, of course, now it's being it was brought out that Huma had emails on there. So that's right now there's really nothing breaking as far as that. But, I mean, if she gets elected, this is gonna be going on for the next 4 years. There'll be scandal after scandal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, just like what happened with Nixon after Watergate. Nixon actually won the election in a landslide, and then 160 days later he was impeached. We don't want that because nothing happens in an administration. all of their appointments get denied. It's complete gridlock, and we will just get 2 years of nothing, and then 2 years of Tim Kaine, and then we're right back where we are right now with growing deficit and no change.
And I'm sure the FBI won't announce anything until at least late January, early February. And for those who think that Obama is going to pardon Hillary, he can't because she hasn't been convicted of anything yet. So I'm sure they're going to wait. They're going to wait until after February.
What some people might not realize, and I don't know if you saw the news that just broke. So Brett Baer, I just posted on Facebook. I could throw the link in the chat. Brett Baer just reported on Fox News about 40 minutes ago that the FBI has leaked some information to the public that the emails on Uma's laptop are not duplicates. They are original or new. They're part of the 33,000 that were missing from the email server. So an indictment is very likely.
Well, the only way they will indict for criminal charges is if they find that just one email that's classified. That's it. That's all it's going to take. If there's one email that's classified that was sent by Hillary, it's over. That's it.
Before you jump in, John, I have a question. Has there ever been a president who gave themselves a presidential pardon?
I don't think they could do that. You can't. So I mean, come on, it's common sense. What if the president kills somebody? Could he pardon himself? I mean,
well, the president actually has executive privilege, which means it's sort of like you're pleading the fifth. An executive privilege means that he can do things and then be exonerated or
in that situation, it would Congress would hold the power because they have the power to impeach states, so they would it would fall on them.
Absolutely. But I think one of the things that I read this on 4chan, so take it with a grain of salt. But from what the internet is talking about is Anthony Weiner is singing like a bird because he's trying to avoid federal prison, and the file that was named in the laptop that had all these emails was named life insurance.
Right. The rumor is that they see. This is why it's not. It's bad. Well, one of the reasons why it's bad for her to have had a separate private server, because somebody could, if she gets hacked, or people could hold blackmail over her. Anybody, it could be anyone, political opponents, people who want payoffs, hostile countries. This is why you don't do that. And the reason why for those who are uninformed, why did she have a private server? Because everything on the .gov server, first of all, that's well protected for classified information. But on the private server, she wouldn't. She could hide her dirt. That was to set up her criminal enterprise. Because on the .gov, it's all public record.
So, if any of the listeners don't know, there's a thing called the Freedom of Information Act, which means that anything that a public servant does from president down, and they do it in an official business, is the public record, and we're all allowed to read it.
Even some of the classified material will, maybe 10, 15 years, 20, 50 years gets declassified and it becomes available to put to the public under the Freedom of Information Act. But this is going to continue. These emails will keep popping up continuously. Anyone she emailed or anyone who emailed her, it's like a web. It's a convoluted web that's never going to end.
So in organized crime, they do a thing, and it's called wet crime. And the reason they call it wet crime is because it gets everybody they touch wet. So everyone's all sort of wet. And the idea being is when they commit these crimes, like racketeering and money laundering, pay for play, quid pro quo, whatever you want to call it, what they do is they purposely get everyone around them wet. So they're like complicit, so they can't blow the whistle because essentially they'll be blowing the whistle on themselves as well.
Right.
The Clintons are masters of this.
And they could, and if shit hits the fan, they could pursue the RICO Act, which is that could be the best way to get everybody to sing. And we see it. We've seen it with the mob. Everybody starts cooperating, and
the fact that they got Anthony Weiner on federal crime because the fact that he was sending these sexually explicit texts to a girl in North Carolina, once you cross state lines, that's considered federal.
Well,
That needs the FBI.
the search warrant was they suspected child porn on his laptop because he was sexting to underage girls.
I mean, Anthony Weiner is an absolute whack job.
He has an illness. He has an illness.
He does. But the fact that him, former Congressman of Queens, and guy who decided to run for mayor after he was outed for being a creep, and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio have gotten so much national attention in this presidential election, it's just crazy to me how these two guys are getting so much attention nationally.
Yeah, well, it's bad. Bad attention. But
John is not a big fan of Mayor Bill de Blasio at all whatsoever.
His name's not even de Blasio. I don't trust anyone who goes into the public eye with a fake name.
But, so, the main thing in the debates when de Blasio was mentioned was that he got rid of stop and frisk, and Hillary claimed New York has gotten safer by that, and de Blasio is doing a great job. We know Trump hates de Blasio. He actually pointed out that crime has gone up. So, Frank, what's your take on that stance between the two candidates?
What, for stop and frisk?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it comes down to the state whether they want it or not. But the court has to rule whether it violates civil rights, and if they find that it does violate civil rights, so they can't do it. But of course, doing stop and frisk is going to lower violent crimes because criminals aren't going to be so free to bring out their guns outside of the house.
You know, I completely agree.
It's a double-edged sword. You know, it is a great way to prevent crime, but if it's done in a improportionate way where more minorities are getting stopped and frisked than whites, then it looks bad.
You know, the optics can be bad, I'll give you that. But the reason behind stop and frisk, and this is what the opponents of it don't understand, is it's not about actually catching people with the gun. Just the same way that a DUI checkpoint isn't about catching someone drinking and driving.
Right, it's a deterrent.
Deterrent, of course.
Yeah, that's what I said. Criminals won't be so free to leave the house with their gun.
You know, and if the reason that minorities are overly stopped and frisked is because they do it in high crime areas. Minorities tend to be poor. Poor areas tend to be more high crime. Thus, you know, it's a correlation, not a causation. And I think that's one of the reasons that optic is so toxic, and the reason that most politicians just run away from it.
Right,
but you could look at stats; it works.
No, it does, of course, because it's a major deterrent. But again, if you live in a high crime area and you're not a criminal and you get frisked, you know, you get angry, you know.
I completely agree, but I think it's very much a feels over reals. You know what? Stopping and frisking people who are not criminals, you're going to hurt their feels. But for reals, they're not going to get shot dead. And if you want to take a look at Chicago over the Halloween weekend and see 16 people get murdered, you know, that's like it's Mosul or it's Fallujah. Like, this is an American city that gun violence, which, by the way, has the toughest gun laws in America, where gun violence is rampant and dangerous. Dwayne Wade's cousin got killed walking down the street, broad daylight.
Right.
Yeah.
But getting back to Hillary, I mean, if for all the voters out there, even if you don't like Donald Trump for whatever reason personally, it's about the regime, all the people that will be involved with Hillary. It's everybody's on the take. Why else would these people defend her when they know she's wrong and she's toxic?
Yeah, there's a lot of very uneducated people out there that are either just saying, like, they run the propaganda and they say, "Oh, Trump's racist."
Oh my God!
You know, like they don't have any reason as to why they're voting for Hillary.
For the last 18 months, we've been the public has been bombarded with propaganda, anti-Trump propaganda, and people are conditioned to just hate him. They don't even know why they hate him.
And the WikiLeaks is such a great example of this.
Yeah.
The media is essentially in the bag. I've never seen it in my whole life.
They are going all in on Hillary. They're risking their reputations. Could you imagine if even one of these stories came out about Trump? He would have to step down. They would force him to step down.
Absolutely.
That infamous audio tape with him and Billy Bush.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I mean,
the thing is that I want to know. First of all, and the emails have shown that. First of all, Hillary's campaign is paying people to go disrupt rallies for Trump.
Yeah,
and secondly, they paid off the Miss Universe, and all the other accusers that came forward were all told to do so by Hillary Clinton. So I don't understand why people are believing that all these people are coming forward at the same time. Oh, well, maybe I should come forward now. No, it's because they were told that. Why is all these violence happening at the Trump rallies? Because the Clinton campaign is buying them tickets to get in there and to disrupt it on purpose. And people have gotten hurt, injured, because of Hillary Clinton. It's not a good look for a president.
Right, because all the mentally enslaved morons out there who watch the TV and they view TV as the authority, they believe anything the TV says.
Yeah,
they're just mentally enslaved morons. Hillary Clinton could come out and shoot someone, and they'll say, "Oh, it's the Russians. The Russians did it." Or it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole thing of blaming the Russians is.
Yeah, that's the latest. That's their latest.
This is not 1970.
Yeah, that's their latest grasp now to try to deflect all this negative attention. Now they're trying to say that Trump has ties with Russia. Oh, and so what? What are we at war with Russia?
No, wouldn't it be good to have Russia as a they're an ally now, but wouldn't it be good to actually say they are actually a good ally? Because they probably have the second largest military in the world.
Yeah, but listen, don't believe all these stories or rumors of World War III. Russia,
no shot. There's no shot that's happening.
Russia's military is actually on the fritz. There was a story the other day that when their Navy crossed the English Channel, their aircraft carrier was like rusty.
Yeah.
And don't believe. Just like in the 80s and 90s when during the Cold War, when every day there was a threat of nuclear holocaust. After the Cold War, it was revealed that their military was in shambles. Their submarines were rusted, and
they don't have the proper finances. We have a comment in the chat, pretty funny one here from Anon4251. He or she says Anthony Weiner is definitely for stop and frisk. I'd put money on it. Maybe at schoolyards or something. What a creep.
Yeah. But let's talk about one last thing. Hillary, how she is such a creep. She throws everybody under the bus at the first hint of trouble. James Comey, who embarrassed himself during the congressional hearings when he basically gave Hillary a get-out-of-jail-free card, embarrassed himself, ruined his reputation. Now that he comes out and all he does is notify Congress, and now she throws him under the bus. And what about Huma, her supposed second daughter? Now she's been banished. You're never going to see Huma again.
Huma's going to take the fall for Hillary. She might.
I think, you know what? If I predicted that too. I think she will take the fall. Either that, or she might, if she flips and cooperates.
Well, was it? I think John, you posted it. One of Hillary's lifelong friends said after this he can't vote for Hillary anymore, on CNN or something.
He works at a bunch of different places, but he's a Fox News contributor. He's a pollster, and he worked in the Clinton White House in 1994. He's basically said the same thing I said earlier about the constitutional crisis that this creates. You can't vote for someone that's going to immediately go before Congress, and it's just going to muddy the waters of be able to get nothing done.
Yeah.
So
the reason why they didn't press charges and this is so ridiculous, was because James Comey said he couldn't prove that there was intent that Hillary wanted to harm the United States. But at the same time, in a criminal investigation, there's a flip side of that where the suspect shows conscious of guilt, and Hillary she whitewashed her server. She used bleach bit to wipe out a server. Isn't that an admission of guilt? Why?
Yeah, and how about the fact that they actually literally used hammers to smash things?
Yeah, well, the phones, and they would say the excuse with that is they transferred all the data out of the old BlackBerries and then destroyed the BlackBerries, which is ridiculous. Come on, these people were subpoenaed by the FBI and the DOJ, and if anyone did a 1/1,000,000th of what they did, we'd be in jail right now. We'd be facing 25 years in jail.
And that's why now are you guys at all familiar with Sheldon Adelson?
No.
Who's that?
Okay, so Sheldon Adelson is one of the richest men in the world. His value is $32.2 billion. He is the guy that's bringing the Raiders to Vegas. He owns the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, which owns the Venetian and the Sands Expo Center and all that. He is taking $25 million of his own money this week to put out commercials in regards to Hillary's emails. He feels the American people need to know what Hillary actually did. So kudos to him. A lot of these rich people have their hands all over politics, but this guy, the American people need to know the truth, and it seems that he might not support Trump 100%, but he knows that Hillary's bad for America.
Right, and also when they try to spin it that Russia is hacking and they're responsible for giving WikiLeaks the emails. The rumor is that it's actually our own intel that hacked her and is giving Julian Assange the emails. There's a secret civil war going on right now in our Justice Department and the government. There's people who recognize that she is rotten to the core and want to bring it down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a quiet coup in the intelligence community, and it's insane that the regular mass media is just essentially ignoring it. It's a crazy time to be alive.
But that's also the burning question. Why are all these people, all these entities, the mass media, these people in the government who defend Hillary blind, what's in it for them? Why are they doing this? Are they afraid of her?
No, they're afraid of Trump. So Trump isn't.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're afraid of Trump. Why are they so hell bent on defending Hillary?
Listen, if it was somebody else, during the primary, Bernie got a lot of positive press. If it was anyone else other than Trump, they'd be going after him.
Yeah.
The fact that Trump just burns down establishments, they can't deal with it. They'll lose their power.
Here's the thing about Hillary. She cannot possibly keep all the promises she's made. She has promised people on both sides of the fence on different topics. And I don't see how anyone could believe that she can keep her promise when she's aligning with two sides of the same argument.
Listen, her MO is she will say anything to make anybody happy at the moment. She'll say anything. She is a professional politician. And what I mean by that is she goes out there, she does the rah-rah, she says all the right things, but it's all an act. It's all facade.
Yeah, I've never seen such a phony candidate. And her smile, in all the debates, is cringeworthy because they must have told her, make sure you're smiling, at all times, even if you're talking about, a death or terrorism.
Oh, yeah. Listen, she has very highly skilled people that'll work for her that know what to do to get people elected. It's a science, There's things studied. People study things that will help a candidate get votes.
And this is another thing here. And John, I'll let you tune in on this one first, and then obviously get Frank's reaction. But what is with Hillary taking Obama's stance here and not referring to ISIS as ISIS, calling them ISIL, and refusing to acknowledge that they're radical Islamist terrorists?
Well, it comes back to what we talked about earlier with Stop and Frisk. It feels overreal. They're worried about offending, moderate, friendly Muslims, so they don't want to say it. Even though ISIS stands for Islamic State, I would say it's a PR, it's an optics thing. But in reality, the real reason is that they think this is a great way to look at it. Look at what John Kerry said about ISIS and about how it's the way to solve it is jobs, because these jihadis are unemployed. They don't realize they underestimate our enemy at every turn. And one of the biggest things that Obama and Hillary have done that's been way worse than anything that Bush ever did was they toppled two countries, but they left a huge power vacuum. And then they also armed the rebels, La Nusra, and you don't know who they are. A lot of those arms ended up in the hands of ISIS.
Right. They like to spin it and say that they armed the moderate rebels. The moderate rebels are ISIS.
They talk out of both sides of their mouth. One side of their mouth, they say background checks for gun owners in America aren't stringent enough. But we have background checks on rebels in Syria, enough to give them freaking Stinger anti-aircraft missiles. The fuck out of here.
Right. Well, you know what that is? What our government, when they fund and train and command these moderate rebels, which is ISIS, it's like a crooked exterminator going around town releasing black widows, and then when the houses get infested, who are you going to call? The exterminator. But then what happens is when the black widows get out of control and you can't control them anymore. That's exactly what happens with these with ISIS. They pay these guys and then they get double crossed.
Well, let's end on this, Frank. How do you feel about Hillary taking massive amount of money from like Saudi Arabia and Iran, and B, how does she keep her promises to them, and C, when Trump said, how are you going to say things about you're pro-gay, pro-woman, and then you're taking money from these countries that are anti that, why don't you give the money back?
Well, yeah, it's a conflict of interest. How could you take money from foreign nations? If you accept money, you're gonna have to return a favor. People aren't giving them anybody who gives any donor isn't giving them a candidate their hard-earned money because they're charitable. Right.
It's just very corrupt, right, John?
Absolutely. And also, you're gonna realize this. She has no positions. I'll quote President Obama in 2008 when he's running the primary. She will say anything to get elected.
Yeah, but now he's the biggest phony of all. Now he swears that Hillary's the most qualified candidate since Thomas Jefferson to be president.
Yeah, more qualified than himself.
And he's another example, ruining his reputation for Hillary's sake.
And then how about this? Maybe one of you guys could explain this to myself and everyone else here. What was up with Hillary Clinton blaming Abraham Lincoln for something?
Oh, I think she cited Lincoln's honesty or something.
She said that she, in a speech that she gave to the Brazilian bankers that she hid until WikiLeaks released it, she said that it's important to have a public and a private position. So essentially, to say something to the public, to us peasants, to keep us happy, but then have a private position, what she's actually going to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She tried to say that Honest Abe had that.
Lincoln used to do the same thing, yeah.
All right, Frank, we definitely appreciate you coming on here tonight. We got to get your co-host from Talking Wrestling, Talking Politics,
yes,
Jimmy, on here. He keeps declining the invitation. But thanks for coming on. And is there any last thoughts you want to leave the listeners out there with?
Listen, next week, you have to do the right thing. You cannot vote for Hillary.
I agree.
And one last point. Even though we know these polls are rigged and overinflated, just look at the turnouts for Trump's rallies.
Massive.
Versus Hillary's turnout. If that's not an indication, I don't know what is. And with that, See you next week.
Thanks, Frank. We'll have you back at some point. We appreciate you coming on.
Bye-bye.
All right, John. Lots to digest there. Obviously, next week's big. And before we move on from the political talk here, give us your final statements. This is our last show before we know who will be the next president of the United States.
I would say that every single American has the opportunity to change America dramatically. It doesn't matter what state you live in. It doesn't matter how deep blue you think you are, or if you think that Trump's going to win a landslide. It doesn't matter. Go out and vote. And the reason that it's so important that you vote is because if Hillary becomes president, she'll be beholden to all these foreign interests. She'll use the presidency the same way that she used the State Department to enrich herself personally. She will appoint Supreme Court justices that are extremely liberal, which seems like a good idea if you're a liberal yourself, but the ideas of checks and balances are a good thing. Because what happens when one party rules for too long, left or right, the country swings out of control. And I think you could look at Switzerland or anywhere in Northern Europe and see where they've swung out of control. And that leaves me to my last point. The one issue voter that you need to be, just say none of the economy has anything to do with you, if none of this other, ethics has anything to do with you, the fact that Hillary wants to bring in 550% more Syrian refugees should be enough for you to not vote for her. Look what's happening to Europe. Northern Europe was a utopia. Now it is the rape capital of the world. It's disgraceful. We cannot vet them. We don't need them here. We have homeless people in America. We have a crazy deficit that's higher than it's ever been. Bringing in these refugees will do nothing but destabilize our country. So if any of these issues that we talked about tonight, any of these issues whatsoever, just if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, how about a big fuck you to the one person that is essentially the Wall Street candidate? Say fuck you to big business, fuck you to the establishment. Michael Moore actually said it the best. Donald Trump is the big motherfuck you to all the establishment that has been crooked and dishonest for the last 50 years.
Yeah, and I'll leave with this. Regardless of the results here, and it could be a rigged election with Hillary, Donald Trump has changed the way politics will be viewed going forward. There's no way anymore that we're going to have the old system where you got these two stuck-up white dudes and they're just being bought by Wall Street on both sides. Donald Trump has done something that we've never seen before. He's used social media perfectly. That's why he hasn't dumped all this money into these commercials like Hillary saying draft our woman. So yeah, things have changed going forward in the political landscape. Tuesday, get out there and vote. Vote for Donald Trump. Vote for Gary Johnson. Vote for Jill Stein. Don't vote for Hillary Clinton. And next week, we'll be breaking down what went down the night before on Tuesday night. It might come down to Florida again, and those people aren't too smart down there, John.
The early voting is actually looking pretty good for Trump in Florida. You heard it here first. One of these deep blue states that nobody's talking about, Connecticut or Minnesota, hey, even New Jersey. I think one of these states is going to surprise everybody, and it's going to go red this year, and it's going to turn politics completely on its head. And, Donald Trump has already burned down the GOP, and now he's slowly burning down the Democratic establishment too. Let's finish it off by cutting the head off the snake and defeating Hillary Clinton.
All right, let's make America great again. And what a big part of America, obviously baseball and football. Baseball score update right now, World Series Game 7. We got a 1-1 tie in the bottom of the third. So after this, you can tune into the World Series if you'd like. But as usual, me and John are going to do our NFL weekly picks. We'll start with the Giants and the Eagles. John obviously picking the Giants to win. I'm going to say the Giants it's going to be close. It can go either way. I think the Giants will lose. But John, let us know why the Giants are going to win this Sunday.
Well, a couple of reasons. A, the Eagles suck. B, the defense, which I thought was our Achilles heel, was what I was really worried about. It has actually played much better. And they'll be nice and rested. We've had a lot of injuries, so hopefully a bye week and a nice long recovery. I think we'll do all right. Fantasy pick. Look at Donnell. I think Larry Donnell is going to be healthy and he's going to play really well this week. And I think we're going to be all over him. I think the score I'm saying right now is 28-3 Giants win.
28-3. Oh boy, we can only wish that. In Ben McAdoo's big cheesecake menu-sized playbook, he calls up the proper draws and screens to tight ends that actually work. The other game of interest would be the New York Jets, 2 wins in a row with Ryan Fitzpatrick heading down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. I say the Dolphins win, and Tannehill has a good day because old Revis at the Revis Resort is going to be cramping up in the Miami heat.
Yeah, Revis Island is now like fucking Barbados. Everyone goes there, and everyone has a great time. Tannehill, you know what? I'm going to go with you. I'm going with Tannehill, and I think that the Dolphins' running game is probably going to get some good legs on.
Right, Jay Ajayi, the third player ever to have 200 rushing yards in back-to-back weeks. So, pretty good running back there.
Yeah.
And then this is what else you're going to say here as far as picks. Not anything else too noteworthy. We'll put with the standings here: AFC East and AFC overall. Best team in football: New England Patriots 7-1. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I don't even think it's close. And
yeah, I just can't see any way they don't go to the Super Bowl this year.
They were already the best team in the NFL, and now you just add in Tom Brady. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. Then we go out AFC West, first place, tied for first, and they're playing each other this week. The Raiders and the Broncos. So that should be a good game. I actually think the Raiders will win. Derek Carr's been really good.
They have been really good, but they came off a real test last week. I don't know if they'll have a little bit of a hangover.
It's true.
I don't know. I'm going to go with the Broncos.
And that's a strong division. The Chiefs are 5-2, and damn, the Chargers is the best under 500 team in football. They're literally in every single game, but they're sitting in the basement right now. At AFC North, Big Ben coming back this week. Steelers are 4-3. I expect them to stay atop the division with Ben Roethlisberger.
Biggie Ben, yeah, I can agree.
Bengals coming off a tie, so they're 3-4-1, but I think they're going to bounce back. AFC South, one of the worst divisions in football. You got the Texans in first place, 5-3. Then the Titans, who are actually surprisingly pretty decent, 4-4. The Titans are the only team in football who are in the top, or in the AFC, who are in the top 10 in offense and defense, which is pretty crazy. Colts 3-5, great QB, team sucks, and the Jaguars, awful QB, team sucks in last place. NFC, Cowboys in first in the East, Giants, Eagles, and Redskins tied for second. NFC West, you have the Seahawks in first, the Cardinals in second. John, what happened to your Rams, man?
That was a stupid pick.
Yep, 49ers in last place, 1-6. They're going to be competing with the Browns for the first pick. The North, you got the Vikings, who aren't that good, really, 5-2. Packers right behind them, 4-3. The Packers are thinking still going to have a chance in the division. Finally, in the South, the Falcons are in first place, coming off a big win over the Packers, 5-3 of Matt Ryan. Then you got the Bucks, the Saints, and the Panthers. Panthers have been bad this year. That's your NFL recap and look ahead this week. We'll be right back here next week, 8 p.m., Sports, Politics, and More. We'll be talking lots of politics next week, John. And once again, everybody's got to get out there and vote. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have a chance to change America for the better. Do it. Next week could either be a celebration or planning for our, American Revolution 2. I don't know.
All right, there you have it, everybody. Special shout out to Anthony Weiner